Emerge, the radio show. I'm Dorothea Schuler, and I'm so glad you decided to join us. On this week's show, we'll be speaking with Dr. Marcus Yarbrough, founder and CEO of Alpha Wound Care Solutions and Wellness, and also Dr. Lucretia Carroll, an assistant professor at the University of Tennessee. Of course, a little later on, we'll be making a divine decision with me, Dorothea, and we'll hear Deshana drop some jewels as she gives us her 2 cents on finance. But first up, like we always do around this time, we'll hear some amazing tips from Tiffany to help you emerge as a CEO. So come on, let's tiptoe over with Tiffany into the CEO's Corner.
Emerge yourself. I'm Tiffany Boyle in the CEO Corner. Bosses, people who say, I'm a boss. I'm talking directly to you. And I want to talk about how important it is for us to give back to let me repeat that, our community. And not just give back, but give back like a boss. First, let me give you a couple reasons why. One, volunteering is self-rewarding. When we volunteer, it's like receiving an internal reward. It's a direct result of our activity or from the outcome of the volunteering that we do. Two, volunteering is helping others, right? Volunteers come in all shapes and sizes. You pick a cause, and as we all know, there are so many causes to choose from, and you make a difference in someone else's life. And I know as a CEO or leader in your organization that our time is limited, extremely limited. So we have to strategize and prioritize on how we're going to give back. So let me break it down. Identify your why, choose thoughtfully, spread the good, make your time count. And remember, please remember that you as the leader set a strong example. And I'm Tiffany Boyle, and my tip from the CEO Corner is give back like a boss. Emerge yourself. We are so happy to have Dr. Marcus Yarbrough on the Emerge show today. Dr. Yarbrough, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Well, we are so excited, Deshana and I, to talk to you about all the great things that you are doing. But we are going to let you talk about a little bit about yourself and what you're doing.
Sure. Okay. This is always the hardest part, right? So I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. So grew up there and then navigated to college, of course, where I trained at Howard University and finished general surgery training there. And then after that, 2 fellowships in burn and critical care, and then another in burn and reconstructive plastics. And then led my way to Virginia after interviewing for a couple of positions, but landed here, loving it, enjoying it, 7 months now. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell, I guess.
Oh, wow. So you haven't been in the Hampton Roads area for long.
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Wow. Yes. Well, welcome. We're happy to have you. So you went to Howard. My daughter actually just got accepted into Howard, but we don't know if she's going to go there or not. So thank you. It is
good place to be.
We'll be picking by this month. But what made you get into that major of, with the burn victims?
Specialty? Sure. Yeah. So I knew I wanted to definitely do something surgical. I navigated to general surgery because it kind of gave you a multitude of different types of issues and problems to kind of define yourself with. But I initially realized I wanted to really kind of hone in on like a super specialty. So I was doing pediatric surgery in my 3rd year, and I was on call, and the hospital had pretty much self-contained pediatric trauma center and also included burn. So I was introduced then and then just fell in love with it because it just really encompassed surgery, critical care, and then just that connection that you have with patients for a long time, especially with the type of patient population. So after that, just really immersed myself into that. And it also coalesces with wound care as well. So, and it's where I am. So just really dedicated, my training afterwards to really take care of that patient population.
That is awesome. Well, we thank you for that. Personally, my grandfather used to work on gas stations in St. Thomas, and one of them blew up, and he had, I believe 70% burn. So just personally, I appreciate you and going into that field, because a burn victim, like you said, it's a long recovery. I call them internal wounds because I don't want to say it burns, but it burns for so long.
It does.
So how long was that cooling time? Oh my goodness.
Oh, total, probably about 13 years. Yeah. So I always tell people, and then, some of the kids that I mentor, I'm a member of Alpha, and so we do a lot of, I haven't really started here in the community in Virginia, but prior, kids always ask me, and I said, listen, there's a whole lot of things that you can do that don't take as long, and you can be just as successful. But yeah, it's one of those tracks. Once you're on it, it's kind of hard to get off of it. And you just kind of see your way through it, and definitely see all the good things that you're able to provide to the community, and like I said, the special population of people that need your service.
Right. So you moved here 7 months ago, and you have taken your doctor portion and turned it into a business portion. So can you tell us about all the history making that you're doing?
Sure. Besides all of the gray hair that I've encompassed in the last 3 months.
Right, we can see.
And yes. It has definitely been a venture. Learning along the way, I tell people it's on the job training, I assume. But I'm very humble. It's a humbling experience, say the least, first thing. But I can say that I've met a lot of people in the community that have helped me navigate that. So that was really, really a big plus for me. And besides that, really trying to bring together those skills, what I do, and then look at what the community needs, and being able to try to interact and being able to make sure that the community know that we're here. Services, this is what we provide. So now it's the difference between looking at people are just patients, now people are customers, and that means a whole lot of different things. So it's been enjoyable learning process. I'm learning every day. Medicare and Medicaid is not easy. I just learned that.
Yeah.
On the backside end, it's an interesting experience. But these are just tiny little hiccups, and along the way, I always tell people, you always look behind and kind of see where you come from, and just kind of shake your head, and and it's a small, minute, static moment in time. Mm-hmm. So when
you say you and correct me if I'm wrong, you've opened up the only acute burn center in Hampton Roads.
So it's a subacute. So
subacute. Okay.
Subacute meaning, and just a little tutorial. So you have a first degree burn that you get, let's say if you're at the beach or you are cooking some bacon and grease pops on your skin. First degree burn. Second degree burn, let's say, it's a little deeper. Then we have one that's a second degree that's even a little deeper than that. Third degree burn is something that you would definitely need to be admitted for, depending on the body surface that's involved. So where I come in is that second degree. We call it a partial thickness burn and a full or partial deep burn. So subacute meaning you don't have to go to the emergency department. That's something that I can evaluate and take care of in my clinic, and then also provide that follow-up. And then additionally, if it is something that deep second degree burn, I also do grafts to those areas. So bioengineered grafts. I do smaller skin grafts, what we call like a pinch graft. So basically like you pinch your tummy. There's like, you may have a little bit more skin than you really want right there, but that's a good thing. So so that's a good thing for me. So I can take a snippet of that, take that skin, suture it up, close it up, and then I can transfer that to the area that has actually been injured. So.
I have just been, silently listening in awe, right? Yes. And I always do that when we have a guest on the show, and it's like, how you just never think about how certain people get served or certain jobs. And like, I think your job is probably one of those. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such a learning experience. But you said something, and I'm going to try to repeat it. So correct me if I'm wrong. You said about looking at people not as patients, but as customers.
Correct.
So what's the difference?
So when you think about patients, we think about a setting, right? And it kind of puts our mind into like a hospital or a larger clinic where you kind of envision people all sitting down in one row and just wait in a sterile environment, white walls, maybe a TV, and waiting for somebody to call your name. Customers are people who, one, you take the time to realize not only do they have an injury, but that injuries also connect to a lot of other social factors. And those things are very important for me, especially when you're assessing the whole patient. So now they've turned into a customer because not only am I looking at the wound, but I'm looking at other aspects that may may affect them, that may affect their injury. And those are the things that we kind of have to really approach and really kind of tune into, especially in different types of populations that we service, especially older patients. As we all know that the population is moving, that baby boomers, we're seeing a lot of that population shift within the last 4 years has happened. So most of the patients that I've seen thus far are older patients. And then there's a population with, multiple jobs, multiple positions. Children can't really take time off from particular jobs or their responsibilities to get in and wait 5 or 6 hours in an emergency department, right? Or they may not have the insurance that may cover those types of injuries. So now we've turned into customers because I need to understand exactly every gamut of your life that may affect your wound heal or us to get you from a point where you are injured to non-injured.
Yeah, that blew my mind. I would never think about somebody's environment affecting them healing in their wounds.
Yes. Like Tiffany alluded to, speaking to her family member that was burned. It was your dad, right, Tiffany? Correct?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So like she alluded to, there's the physical aspect and then there's the mental aspect. I mean, especially in the burn population, there are particular groups, burn survivors that have groups, which is very active. And then in addition to that, as far as patients, older generation, caregivers that are really and uniquely involved with understanding how to take care of certain things. So again, that's kind of where it goes into being, these patients, not being patients, but now these are my customers. And then onboarding caregivers with that. So it really encompasses a whole lot more than just seeing you in the clinic and treating you or giving you a script and those types of things.
So how do you get your patients/customers? Is it referral based? Do they come to you?
It's a number of things. So again, my OJT on the job marketing has surfaced itself to learn that there are a number of avenues. So referrals are the biggest thing. The partnership in the community with other providers is also very important. And then, of course, the social media marketing on the web and whatnot. And then a lot of it's just footwork. So we're visiting different family practice clinics, internal medicine, and then urgent care centers. Urgent cares are really set up for what they are. They're urgent care when you think about a cold, the flu, you don't feel good, the GI illness. But we get a lot of consults, a lot of calls from these centers because, well, what do you do with the burn? We don't know. They just send them to the emergency department. So again, that's kind of where we come in the middle. We can send them to us. We can take care of it. And then from a lot of the family practitioners, plastic surgeons, where you have a lot of wounds that don't heal. So post-surgical wounds. So you get those types of referral. And then, of course, word of mouth, right? So in addition to that, also do some wound care in a lot of the long-term rehab nursing homes in the area. So a lot of these patients are discharged with no follow-up, no physician. So it's nice to be able to continue that continuity of care with them. And now, again, bringing in the family, the caretaker, and whatnot. So to answer your question, it's a roadmap, right? So the referrals, practitioners, providers, and then just really marketing yourself to those areas where there's a need. And I think that's one of the important aspects about medicine, kind of knowing we have a road as a physician, but then it only extends so much. I'm not an orthopedic surgeon. You break a bone, like I don't know what to tell you, but I can refer you and I can tell you it's broken, right? But, you have a GI illness. I'm not a GI doctor, but I can, say, hey, it could be these types of things. So that's kind of where we are and kind of where you have the continuity of care in the community with a patient. Now they turn into a customer. I can refer you here. I can, like my patients that are elderly, especially in the African-American community, screening is so important, to me. And learning that being at Howard in the community that we service. So not only am I going to see your wound, and I'm going to ask you, hey, have you had your colorectal screening? You have your PSA. Now I can refer you to someone else if need be, if it's abnormal. And then we just kind of work the coalition together and say, hey, Dr. Yarbrough, I got a patient here. So it's just building those links in the community.
Right. Very nice. Very nice. I think I'm going to talk with your PR person and let them know you guys probably start like a TikTok page.
Oh,
people can see. I was just thinking about all you guys could be on a show, Dr. Pimple Popper. I don't think there's one for burns. So
I have Tiffany, I've stayed away from social media. One, I can't can navigate it. So, but recently, I've been told that that's important. So
it is important in this day and age, but you can always have someone do it for you. I think, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of burn like scenarios on TikTok nor on TV, but that's like the new reality show. So I think that'd be awesome. Right. So I'll put a little word in for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
It's our social media group. Oh yes, she would.
I have been told. Yes. So by our mutual friend Marcus. So yes.
Yeah. So how can people contact you? Contact the facility and social media?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we have a website recently launched, so they can reach us at alphawoundcare.com, and on there you will find all of our contact information. We are located at 6477 College Park Square, Suite 120, Virginia Beach. So we are centrally located in that area of community, which is also good. And then as we move forward, as you mentioned, other social media platforms, but most of the services that I offer, I do telemedicine as well. They are all on the website.
Okay. All right. Very nice. So yes, once you get your social media up, let us know so we can then follow and promote at the same time. But you said it's alphawound.com. alphawoundcare.com. All right. Awesome.
Okay. Now, before we let you go, we have one more question for you.
Yes,
and it is our signature question. What does the word emerge mean to you?
Emerge. So to me, the word or the term emerge would mean or could be a lot of things. But I think coming from a place of, and I kind of have to dig into my alpha roots, coming from a place of darkness being not ignorant, but learning, from static to continuous movement into education, self-awareness initiative to a point where the goal would be self-sufficiency. So that would be my definition.
I like it. That is the first time we've had that. That's going to be a whole workshop. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Yarbrough, for coming on the show. Thank you again for coming and investing in the Hampton Roads area and for treating our burn victims and doing telemedicine. We really appreciate it. And thank you for also making history here. And we hope that you continue to stay here.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you both.
Emerge yourself.
It's me, your heart. High blood pressure is serious. And if you think I'm just going to keep ticking away, you're wrong. I can quit whenever I want, but I like my job. Just treat me better. Maybe we can do some exercise on occasion. After all, we're in this together.
Don't let your heart quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
I see you finally got a new helmet.
I did. Bought it cheap online. Follow me. We'll turn off here.
I'm right behind you.
Watch the cars. They can be crazy.
Teddy! No! Are you okay? Somebody do something!
Was this young man hit by a car?
Yes, and his helmet is smashed.
It's a brand new helmet.
It's probably a fake. Fakes cause real harm. You're smart. Buy smart. Brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council and the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. Hungry kids get sick more often and can struggle in school. It can be harder for them to focus and learn. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures.
We want to ensure that all of our kids have healthy meals every day.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping feed our kids.
To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
Check out my new time machine.
Does it work?
Hit the button.
Hey, it's Napoleon.
Oui. Check out the future.
Hey, you have a nice house. Why don't I?
You didn't save any money, buddy.
If only there was a way I could go back in time and fix that.
Yeah.
Save something for the future. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Emerge yourself.
You're listening to the Emerge Radio Show on WHOV 88.1 FM.
Welcome back. I'm Dorothea Schuler, and you're listening to Emerge, the radio show that's all about entrepreneurs and business and is the premier information source for business owners. If you're just now joining us, we spoke with Dr. Marcus Yarbrough, the founder and CEO of Alpha Wound Care Solutions and Wellness, a company encompassing the growth education of medical providers who believe in practicing advanced wound and burn care. All right, so let's get down to it. Every living person inevitably operates and proceeds throughout the course of their life based upon a series of decisions. A decision is defined as a conclusion or resolution reached after consideration, and divine means excellence. So we're making an excellent choice. Keeping those principles in mind, let's make the divine decision today to possess self-control. It's apparent that in today's society, the lack of self-control amongst people is steadily on the rise. It's almost seen as normally accepted behavior. And plainly put, people have become accustomed to unhealthy and abusive behavior and even popularly view this as just a change in the time. My perspective, an increased lack of self-control shouldn't be passively accepted as a change in the times. The definition of self-control is the ability to control oneself, in particular one's emotions and desires, or the expression of them in one's behavior, especially in difficult situations. Yes, that was a lot to take in. What I grasp from that is to possess self-control gives us the ability to set and facilitate an atmosphere of peace. Life circumstances will always arise and are sure to test us. We've all been involved in situations that we later on regret our behavior, as well as the consequences following it. And yes, there can be a number of reasons why. But let's ask ourselves, how did the behavior benefit us? Time cannot be recaptured. We cannot get those moments back. But we can decide to pause a moment and choose to practice some self-control. Self-control is a wonderful fruit of the spirit that helps to birth peace in the situations because it diffuses the opportunity to engage in strife and confrontation. So today, I'll leave you with this. In your faith, supply moral excellence. And in your moral excellence, knowledge. And in your knowledge, self-control. And your self-control, perseverance. So join me. Make the divine decision to possess self-control. Knowing this decision will ultimately help to shape and create a path that reflects a light of excellence in our lives. This, my friends, has been another divine decision with Dorothea. You can decide to be a part of Emerge the Radio Show by submitting your response to our signature question. What does the word emerge mean to you? Share that on our IG at Emerge the Magazine. This week's response is from Steve L. Brown, elected public servant in Hampton, Virginia. Emerge is the final reveal of who God called you to be and produce in the earth. It's the ultimate coming out party. All right, Steve, we love a party here at Emerge, especially one celebrating success. And you can follow Steve on Instagram at stevebrown4.hampton. That's STEVBROWN4.HAMPTON. Thank you for listening to Emerge the Radio Show. Up next, we'll be speaking with Dr. Lucretia Carroll, an assistant professor at the University of Tennessee.
Emerge yourself.
we will be speaking with Dr. Lucretia Carroll, a talented and accomplished nursing professional and currently an assistant professor at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center, College of Nursing. Dr. Carroll has a passion for improving health outcomes, decreasing health disparities, and improving health equity in marginalized communities. Dr. Carroll ties her passion for eliminating disparities with a passion for political progress. She has worked on several political campaigns and previously served as the regional director of the Black Caucus of Young Democrats of America and served as the treasurer of the Shelby County Democratic Party. She is a recent alumnus and now the program director of Leaders of Color Memphis, an initiative designed to elevate progressive Black and Latino leaders to public office. We welcome Dr. Lucretia Carroll.
Hello and welcome. It's such a pleasure and an honor to have you on the Emerge Radio Show. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Good morning. All is well. How are you? I am well. I am alive. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope that you all are doing well. Yeah, we are here.
We are here. We are here. So your bio is so amazing. Just tell us more about yourself. Like, let us in. What's been going on?
Oh, goodness. Where do I start? Okay. So the other people that don't know me, I am an assistant professor at the College of University of Tennessee Health Science Center. So I am a researcher. I call myself a social scientist and assistant professor. The research or my program of research focuses on health equity, health disparities, quality of life in marginalized communities and sexual and gender minorities, specifically those who are Black, who are trans, who are intersex. And so by day, I am a researcher. I hope to one day use my research to inform policy. By night, I also help with campaigns. I also train people, provide them the tools that they need to run for office or be civically engaged. When I'm not doing that, I'm with my fur baby or I'm working out or riding my bike. So yeah.
Gotta love the fur babies, right?
Yes. Got my fur baby.
So I am always intrigued when somebody is into research. How do you even get into a field like that?
Well, there's a couple of nuances. So I've been a nurse for 11 years and I knew at some point I wanted to do research. I just didn't know in what capacity. And so the PhD program or PhD programs, period, it was kind of a segue for me with regard to research. I just decided that I wanted that to inform policy. So, after being a nurse and providing, bedside care beyond the bedside, it's like, all right, well, like how else can I make a difference? And so the way to do that was research. So, I mean, there's different pathways to specific types of research, but for me, it was like, in what other ways can I make a difference that's going to help somebody?
Awesome.
I think that's important for people to know, because when you hear like of a nurse, people always think of the action and not like the research behind it. So it's an interesting career path that's not widely talked about,
Mm-hmm.
So when you say research, like what exactly do you do? Like to me, it's like, oh, I'm just going to go Google some stuff. And I know that's not what you do.
At all. While Google and WebMDs have become powerful tools and sources of information, I am the person that is conducting the study behind the research that you read. And so currently I look at lived experiences and drivers of mental health, drivers of stigma, and how that impacts your overall life. And so what that looks like is I'm talking to people, I'm interviewing them, I'm collecting that data to write a paper that people are reading about, to write the policy or to inform, whatever is next. So yeah, you can look up, 99% of somebody has XYZ or these are whatever, but I'm the person that's actually doing the steps and talking to people to inform those types of data.
So what I heard was when I'm sick, don't Google and use WebMD. Reach out to Dr. Lucretia because she's going to know what's going on. That's what I heard. That might not have been what you said, but that's exactly what I heard.
Right.
I mean, you can, or I can also provide a list of resources if you can't get in touch with me.
We're going to ask you to give out your social media information so that everybody's going to start asking you instead of being I'm like a whole doctor from WebMD. I can diagnose myself and other people.
Listen, first of all, I'm not going to call anybody out of my family, but don't be like people. They be like, I saw this on XYZ. And then after they already diagnosed themselves, they send me a picture. Like, what is this?
That's too funny.
Just in talking with you this short time, I can tell you have so much passion for what you do. And I know you led with, you just wanted to do more outside of, the bedside care, which I think is absolutely amazing. What can you share with us about some of the projects you've worked on and the impact that's had in the community?
Oh, okay. So from a nursing or research or just in general, so some of the things that I've done, I've also published a child's book for people with a specific disease. It's available on Amazon, and I didn't do it for profit at all. Like, it started out as a piece of my dissertation, and then I noticed like there weren't resources. There wasn't anything for kids. And as a pediatric nurse, like, that's my heart. And so I've done that by myself. But not only that, like, I've also served in other capacities. So I do quite a bit of community-based research because I also believe that you can't fix a problem if you're not in close proximity, or you need to be in close proximity to the problem to understand. And so with that being said, some of the research that I do, I involve my community partners. I get like one-on-one or, all that, like the one-on-one, that in person, that up close, that day-to-day experience. And so with that being said, I've been able to be on boards, and one of my most impactful boards right now, which crosses over between work and what I love to do, is a board that supports the LGBTQIA homeless youth. We were able to use the data to provide information so that we can get a homeless shelter built. And so the homeless shelter is now there. We are now in the process of providing wraparound services for youth. And by wraparound, I mean mental health, food, job, all of the things that you would need as a person, not just the health needs. So that's one project. Another project some other things that I've been able to do in collaboration, not just by myself, in collaboration with other people, is talk about and lobby for health policy. So what does it look like? Well, what does it mean to write your senator? What does it mean to spend a day at the Hill? What does it mean to really push the things that are important or that impact marginalized communities in their lives? So those are just, a few things I've been able to do alongside some of my other colleagues.
Awesome. So if you all are just tuning in, this is the Emerge Radio Show. I'm your co-host, Deshana Kemp Garnett, here with Tiffany Boyle. We have the pleasure of sitting down with Dr. Lucretia Carroll this morning, and she is just sharing with us what it is she's doing and how she is making an impact into the community. Dr. Carroll has been a nurse, and she really just took that further, and she's now on the research side, and she's doing things to progress certain communities, and she's just doing an amazing job. So Dr. Lucretia, what other things have you been working on?
So I love research, and I also, I kind of made a segue into policy, but the other things that I also do and I'm a part of is I also help campaigns. I help train people to run for office or be more civically engaged, which takes up a lot of time because a lot of people don't understand the impact that being civically engaged or running for office and what those roles really look like. Other than that, that's my 24 hours in a day.
That takes up a lot of time.
That's the 24 hours in a day.
To help on political campaigns. I thank you for that because, like you said, a lot of people don't know, people just see the politician, right? They don't know the whole team that's behind the politician that's really making the change, the movement, making the whole thing work. And I really appreciate what you do for that part as far as like training people, teaching people. Everybody always thinks, elected official. But, you got to learn how to be a campaign manager. You got to learn how to be a finance, the treasurer, volunteer coordinator. There's so many things involved marketing. So can you let everyone know like where you do your political operative work?
Yes. So I am currently in Memphis, Tennessee. I have worked on a couple of campaigns for the people out there. My partner, my boo, my bae, if you're in the South, whatever, however you want to identify me. He has been through 2 campaigns and is currently running for governor of Tennessee, which is a Republican state. And so seeing him go from the first race was county commission. And so every state doesn't have a county commission. And I'll just give you a side piece. Memphis has a county and city government. So we have county commission and city council and a county mayor and a city mayor.
Oh my goodness.
While we have all those things, they're separate. I don't know. Questions that need answers. So for those who are listening, I don't have the answer to that. But what I will say, like, you ran for county commission, and if you've run for office before. You know how hard it is the first time you run, especially when you run against a name. So he did not win his first race. Shortly after that, he ran for city council for a super district, or in some states, in some counties, it's called a member at large. So that encompasses half the city, but there's 3 seats. And so we went through that. He's successful, elected, won, and now he is currently running for governor, like I said, of the state of Tennessee. So outside of, having that firsthand experience, there's nothing like being a candidate. There's also nothing like being the person next to a candidate in a different role. I mean, you can be a campaign manager, which is great, but you also don't get the firsthand experience of being a partner or dating someone or married to someone who's also a candidate. So just having that firsthand experience and using that to also help other people.
So what is advice that you would give to a partner or a spouse of a candidate?
Ooh, that's a great question. One, communication is necessary. Communication is necessary. Like, have the talk before you decide to, run for any elected office, not only with your partner, but with your family, with your kids, because everything that you do as a candidate and or they do as a partner or a family member can impact both of y'all's lives. And so when you have a public facing life, you also have to be mindful that people can misconstrue or say what they want to because you are public facing. Is it an easy life? Not necessarily, but is it worth it? Yes. So I guess to answer your question, outside of communication and talking, the advice that I would give a partner or a family member is it's going to be okay. Like, it's going to be okay. People are going to be people. Some people are not going to like you, and you have to be okay with people not liking you to deal with this job. Because when I say that, people can make up stuff all the time. People can do things to purposefully try to interrupt or disrupt what you have. And so you have to be strong in who you are and know that's a part of it. I tell people all the time, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Communicate and know yourself and your partner or your husband, your wife. Just know yourself.
Right. Knowing yourself is super important. And like you said, everybody is going to have an opinion, and you got to know your purpose, why you're here, what your role is. So when people talk to me about it, and I'm like, I don't have a spouse or a partner, but when other people are getting into it and they're married or, have a girlfriend, I'm like, look, my one piece of advice that I've seen from the outside looking in is don't go to everything.
That is true. That is also true. On the campaign side, don't go to everything because that's not where your voters are.
Exactly.
That's not where your voters are. It's probably going to be the same politicals or the same people in the political circle
So, okay, let's circle back. You said you published a children's book. Did we say the name of the book? I don't remember the name of the book. And if you said it, let's just say it again.
No, I didn't. So the kids' book is called The CAH Wonder Club and Congenital Adrenal Hyperplasia. It's a unique disease in that it's a genetic disorder that causes the body to produce too many hormones, whether that's androgen. And so for females, we know what too much androgen is like, especially as you age or have any type of hormonal problem. But then on the flip side, for men, at a young age, androgen causes the bones to grow too fast, and you have some other issues. So the book is called The CAH Wonder Club, and CAH stands for Congenital Adrenal Hyperplasia. I mean, the book ain't deep. It's at a kid's reading level. And so the book basically breaks it down, the diagnosis down in a way that school age children can understand. But not only understand, but also understand what it's like to go to the doctor, what it means to not share that with your friends. But if you go to school, what happens?
Okay. So how was the process of, writing the book, editing the book, actually getting it published from a business standpoint? I know you said you didn't do it to make a profit, but you still had to understand the business structure. So for other people who are listening, who might be thinking about writing a book or have done it, what was the process for you? And then some tips that you could give them.
Okay. So like I said, as a researcher, one, and being a community-based participatory person, I started out just listening. Like, I literally started out listening to the needs of families, watching, observing, not inserting myself. And that's how I was like, oh, well, they need a resource. Somebody needs something. And where do we start? And so outside of that, the process was like, okay, I know as a clinician and a researcher, I can get wordy. I can say things that the layperson might not understand. And so I had to, one, think about what it is I wanted to say in a way that everybody can understand, especially a child. I had a script. I wrote what I wanted to say, and I had a teacher read my information and help me with the language. And so after I got that part together, I was like, okay, do I want to self-publish? Do I want to go through a publisher? And then what does like the illustration part come in? Mm-hmm. What we know to be true is kids like pictures. Kids, teenagers, shoot, even adults. I mean, we every now and again, if you're a visual learner, then you like pictures. And so what did that also look like? And what did I want my characters to look like?
Right.
I knew at the time that the book came out, superheroes was the hottest thing. Like, it was a hot thing. And so I was like, all right, I want my characters to look like superheroes. So I got the language down. What do I want the pictures to look like? I want them to be superheroes. I want them to not embody like Marvel, because I am a Marvel fan. But I want them to embody strength. I want them to embody like power. I want them to embody. So if a kid looks at that, they too can feel that sense of, power. And so I found a publisher. I know some people joke about Fiverr, but I found my publisher off of Fiverr. I sent the script, and we had a lot of discussions about what that would look like. And I also wanted my characters to be brown, not just because I'm Black, but representation matters. And so when you have a diverse range of people or characters that look like your children, then that matters. And so I wanted them to be diverse, and they are. So I found a publisher who aligned page by page with the script. So we went back and forth. And then I also had that same person to format my stuff. People don't talk about formatting, copywriting, IBN numbers, all that. They literally walked me through step by step what it looks like to self-publish. And the beauty of self-publishing is you can upload everything to Amazon and they print and ship for you. That's the beauty of when you do stuff by yourself. And they also format it for Kindle. Yes. And for Kindle and for audiobooks. Amazon does that for you. The only catch to self-publishing, and I think this might be true. No, I think this might be true if you go through a publisher, is that they take a percentage because they copy, print, do all the stuff for you. Right. But for a small fee, that saves me trips from going to FedEx or wherever I'm going to print. It saves me postage. It saves me the time. So I pay a little. I will pay for convenience. It's say.
Right.
All right. Talk about dropping jewels. We are Emerge Radio Show. I'm your host, Deshaina Kemp Garnett, along with co-host Tiffany Boyle. We are talking to Dr. Lucretia Carroll. If you are not at your desk right now with a pen, paper, pencil, and you missed all those jewels about how she went about printing her book and publishing it, I know you have missed out. So you might have questions. You might be wondering, how can I do what Dr. Lucretia has done? So Dr. Lucretia, can you share your website and your social media just in case people want to look for you and they have more questions?
Sure. So I am Dr. Cretia. I go by Dr. Cretia for those that know me. So if you look up Dr. Cretia on Twitter, if you look me up on Instagram, you can find me. If not, if you still are a big person, I'm Lucretia, Lacretia, Carroll, Carroll on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. I would say you can look me up on the research side at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center at L Carroll, LCARROL 6 at uthsc.edu. I am working on my own personal branding and website, but I will share that when it happens.
Thank you. Yes. When that happens, let us know so we can share it on the show. So we are going to ask you one last question, and that is our signature question. What does the word emerge mean to you?
Oh, so when I hear emerge, it makes me think about my own personal journey in life. And it makes me think about the process of almost like a butterfly. Like you go through certain phases in life. Some of those you have to go through by yourself. Some of them you are in a cocoon where can't nobody see your work. And then you come out, as the young people say, you pop out. So when I hear the word emerge, I hear a process of growth. I hear or I see a process of refinement, of just going through what you need to go through, of resilience to become the person that you are. Emerge is a process to me. And who you are now might not be the person you are in tomorrow or in 5 years, but it's this constant iterative process of growth, development, change, acceptance. Yeah.
Thank you. I love that definition. I always like asking that question because everybody, has a different definition of what emerge means to them. So I appreciate that the whole it's a process part. And that's what we love to talk about on this show. Where you started is not where you're going to end. And we're like, where are you right now? And where do you plan on going? So thank you. And Dr. Lucretia, it's been very nice to have you on the show, sharing all of the things that you do, from nurse research to political operative is what I keep calling you. Thank you so much. And all of it relates to giving back to our community and the benefit and well-being of us as people. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm always available. I'm always willing to help. So thank you.
Emerge yourself.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6, I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6, I make his breakfast. At 7, I shower. Every day I wake up
For
at
those
5.
caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Students, when I call the reason for your absences throughout the years, please exit the auditorium without your high school diploma. Too tired, family trip, sick day, starting the holidays early.
Starting in the 6th grade, students who miss 18 days or more of school in a year for any reason will fall behind and risk not graduating high school. How many days of school has your child missed this year? Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
It's Emerge Wednesdays on WHOV 88.1 FM.
I am Deshana Kemp Garnett, and it's time for my 2 cents. Credit in this day and time is everything. I mean, having and maintaining a good credit score is vital to your financial power, both business and personal. So exactly what does credit do? Like, why is it so important? It's important because credit allows you to borrow money to buy something today with the understanding that you're going to be paying for it later with interest in most cases. When you use credit correctly, you can do so many things. It can actually help save you money, help you in emergencies, and open the door to new financial possibilities. Your credit score is your financial reputation. Think about it. What exactly do you want your financial reputation to say about you? I'm Deshana Kemp Garnett, and that's my 2 cents.
Here's what's coming up in Hampton Roads.
Let's take a look at some local and regional activities. We are so excited to announce that voting has opened for the Emerge Premiere, and it is opened until April 30th, 2023. You can go to emergepremiere.com/vote to vote for your favorite emerging entrepreneur, most influential, best nonprofit, most financial growth, and most social media growth. You don't want to miss out on this opportunity. A special thank you for the guests on today's show. To listen to past episodes of the Emerge Radio Show, visit emergethemagazine.com.
Emerge yourself.
You've been listening to the Emerge Radio Show. All opinions expressed on this show are that of our guests and may or may not be shared by the Emerge Radio Show staff. Follow us on Facebook. Search Emerge Radio Show. On Instagram, Emerge the Magazine, and online, emergethemagazine.com.